New York Times bestselling graphic novelist Johnnie Christmas has a new book. It's called Swim Team. It's all about Bree and her story to learn how to swim. Thank you so much for joining me today.
But thanks so much for having me, Rudy.
Let's talk a little bit about the character of Bree and what she's going through in this story.
Well, so Bree is a young kid who just moved to a new school. Dad has got a new job, and this new school is like swim crazy. Everyone's fanatical about it, but Bree has a secret. She doesn't know how to swim. So she finds herself in a scenario where she's avoiding her swim class because, she's a star student, which is unheard of for her to avoid a class. One day she falls into a pool, and that sets up the whole scenario where she has to learn how to swim finally. And that's where we start the whole second phase of the book, where elderly neighbor teaches her how to swim, and she joins a swim team. And then we're off on a whole new adventure with friends and competition and all that good stuff.
Let's talk a little bit about the friends. Clara, Keisha, Philippa. Where do they all kind of fit in and their dynamic?
Well, they're all they're all on these opposite ends from where Bree is. Clara's kind of an all-American can-do type kid. Keisha is this rich kid who came to this school, and she's kind of not sure where she fits in, and she's kind of and Philippa's like the class clown with like this heart of gold with a hard exterior. So they're always kind of pinging off of each other, and they have to work together outside of the pool if they have any hope of winning inside of the pool.
Let's take a serious turn right now, because a lot of our Black and brown children don't have access to pools. The importance of learning how to swim, because it is such a vital thing for every kid to have to learn, and why this is such an important message for families.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a great lack of access for Black and brown kids in terms of swimming pools, and there has been for a very long time. So Swim Team, we sort of address that, and it's part of Bree's journey, is that she doesn't know how to swim because she doesn't have access to swimming pools. So when she butts up against these stereotypes that Black people can't swim, she's confronted with them in a way that she realizes it's not her fault. She's a kid. She doesn't build swimming pools. She has no actual say in where they're positioned or where the policies that were put in place to put them where they are. So it's a helpful message. It's a message I wish I knew as a kid, because when I was a kid, I fell into a pool and I thought it was my fault that I didn't know how to swim. But I was 5. I didn't build swimming pools at 5. So I think it's an important message for kids, and then from that point they can know going forward they can enjoy the pool in a whole different way, I think.
Well, especially here, in the Midwest, it's been cold. Now we're getting into the warmer temperatures. The pools are now opening up. So, in essence, like, everyone's excited to be outside and to go there. And parents might have their child who might get invited to a party or might want to go there with friends. And what advice do you have for them, especially if there's not that access of swimming lessons or being able to learn resources or any place that they may be able to go?
Yeah, I'd say go with the trusted adult. Don't go unsupervised, because part of an issue is if you only go to the water once or twice a year, you probably don't have the skills in place to go into the deep end. But stay in the shallow end, have fun with your friends, have a great time, but always with a trusted adult or supervision.
Let's talk a little bit.
Have fun.
And have fun, exactly, because we want to have fun. Let's go back and talk a little bit about Bree, because it's not just swimming, but it's also learning something new. And her character is at that age where you may have grown up with something, and now you're kind of getting into your own persona, as far as like, here's some new things that are thrown at me that I necessarily wasn't grown up with. Talk a little bit about just being that age and having to learn something new.
Yeah, at that age. Especially with Bree, I wanted a situation where Bree doesn't know a lot of these new situations that she's in and new skills. So I wanted her to go piece by piece. The book has a kind of puzzle component where it's all about learning how to do a thing bit by bit, and not necessarily having to be good at it, but just keep trying at it. And every time you try a thing, you'll get better at a thing, which is an important message for all of us to take. Because sometimes we get in our heads about like, oh, I'm good at this or I'm bad at that. But really what it is, it's just time and effort. And at that age, I think it's very important, because you're learning so much. And there's so many new things that are coming at you, so that if you stick with things that you enjoy, you'll enjoy them a bit more, because you just keep getting better at them. You don't have to turn away from them.
Let's go on the opposite spectrum of things and talk a little bit about the elder that Bree encounters in her building. As far as, maybe listening to someone of an older generation and kind of taking their advice. Was there somebody in your life that you maybe necessarily weren't expecting to learn a lesson from, but you really, I can see that smile already. I feel like you have a good story.
Yeah, there was a whole host of teachers where when you say take a lesson from, like literally, I went there to learn lessons from them in terms of school, but so many of them I learned things that were outside of, that were larger than just school thing. There were life lessons. Many high school teachers and middle school teachers. I'm thinking of Mr. Ashley, Mr. Braxton. There were plenty who took an interest and saw that, I was a curious student, loved history, loved reading, loved art, and would just kind of gently point me in these directions. That was really helpful and very encouraging, because when you're a young person, it's really nice when someone like notices a quality in you that you're not quite sure. It's all just a big mixed bag of stuff that you are. And when someone, a trusted adult goes like, hey, you have a good quality, you should nurture that, or what have you. It's really, it really is something, and it really meant something to me.
Johnnie, swim team is now in stores. Thank you so much for your time today.
Rudy, thanks so much for having me. I appreciate it.